was like a day of thing where I just forgot to put it in my calendar, which is on me. But being reminded is super helpful, and a great way to do that is to figure out how to communicate with each other. And which medium is the best medium to get in touch with them. Find it and use only that. Whether it is email, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, comlink things that you yell into, or spy stuff, however you figure out. You haven't noticed these are all gifts from movies that are already movies by minutes or fun. Best way to get in touch. Mine is, pick one. Mine is Gmail is my favorite because of the drive. The drive is literally where you can store all of your most important things. Like they were saying earlier, you can, the ideal situation is to have all of the videos sliced and ready for your guests to watch, because hopefully your guest wants to be just as prepared as you are, and even a timestamp with where the minute starts and end is something that's great. I prefer getting the full minute because I do a lot of note-taking, and I like to watch the movie a few times, so knowing the right version is also good, which I think is... I had to, because Gmail's superior. And then your emails, when you're sending all your information, thorough to the point, but short too. I've gotten some emails that were so long, and I try to be very thorough and read everything, I end up skimming and missing very important information. So, ready? And use exclamation points. And there's supposed to be a thing that said use exclamation points because you get excited. And then, okay, so the next one. It's not working. Oh, there we go. Emails should be short and sweet, like Samwise Gamgee. That's what you want them to be, because people don't like to read. They don't. People think they do, but they don't. And you just want to get all the information out as fast as you can. This is great. Thank you. So this is an example of one of my favorite emails I ever got, and it's from Tyranny at the Never Ending Story Man. Oh, Never Ending Man. What I loved is that she bolded the title. She also, that circle right there is, don't click ahead yet. She bolded the title and had the minutes ready for me, where we're going to record, and if you have any questions, email us. They had, okay, now you can, two more, right there and right there. Yeah, those, I would have bolded those three as well, because that's all perfect information. Link to the movies briefing that Tom and Jim did. That's an amazing thing to include because it gets everything out of the way, and you get to hear Tom's lovely dulcet tones. And then how long they run and how long you need to record. I think that's very important because people like to schedule things. Snape approves of it. And then day of recording. This is when you can start getting into like the schematics of things, like what people want to know. Let them know if they shouldn't swear or not. That's a big thing. I'll figure out halfway through an episode that John and I recording The Fifth Element and didn't let them know not to swear. And then in my head I'm like, oh God, Aziz. And I'm like, that's an extra like 20 minutes of work for me right there. So let them know at the top, rules like that. Also let them know of their intros and outros. I was like, this is going to be my only Star Wars gift. It's going to be this awful one. Let them know when they're going to be introduced and how they're going to sign off, just so that you don't stumble over each other. And I will still stumble over you and say things wrong. I think it was Never Ending Minute. Good God. And I think 6 times they're like, this is how we're going to end it. And they'd say it and I would just be like, and I'd be like, oh, F-bomb! And then say it again and again, and I'm sorry.
It was hilarious.
It was bad. I was like, I was
good comedic content.
I want to do things right, and when I don't, it's frustrating. Then we can go from that. And the last page is, this is what you should do as a guest to help your hosts. And I think the first thing should be whatever I wrote the first thing is. I don't remember what it is. It's I guess the most important thing is it's over. Don't do anything.
This part is over.
This part is over. Remember, it's their show. It's not your show. So you're there to help move their show along, or let them move their show along, but you're there to help facilitate more jokes and know more. So it comes down to do your research. I guessed on a, not to toot my own horn, I work very hard for you guys. I watch the movie multiple times. I take notes on the movie. I Google stuff. I make sure I know everything. I have notes for every minute. I watch every minute, and I listen to at least 2 weeks of every single podcast episodes because I want to know inside jokes. I want to know what the flow is and what they're going to expect from me. And it is, I still get on tangents, and I know all of you know that. I love telling stories. But there's an extra 3 hours of effort you can put through and really do a good job, I guess. I try to do a good job. If I don't, for the love of God, let me know because I'll change it. But be on time. Make sure you read the emails. If you have questions, email them. And I guess that's it to be a good guest. I know it's a lot. Really should just be having fun, but do it right. That's all I had though for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
wasn't
was excellent. Those are speaking to that last one for a second, and this kind of came up, I feel like in all the things, in the editing and all that, know the tone of the show that you're going to be on, because they're not all the same. Everybody's got kind of different voices. Some are a little more kind of loose and jocular, and some are more kind of studied, and so know the show.
There was actually,
to it.
I remember I did, so Star Wars Minute is when I was the first one, and then Back to the Future was the second one to ask me. You guys were the fourth. Alien was the third, and I hadn't listened to any of Alien's minutes up until I got there. And I got in and I was like, cool, I didn't know this movie. And I was like, I am so in over my head right now because I didn't realize how technical they were. And that's when I was like, oh, I need to listen to every single episode up to when I'm recording. And I was so sad because I was like, oh, I didn't do it. Because I went to film school. I should have been able to keep up, but I was crazy. It was fun. But I love Alien Minute.
Yeah. We literally just had that conversation a little while ago too. That was an example where I was like, oh wait, this is different, and I love that there's so many different kind of voices and so many different that all these shows aren't just cookie cutter copies of the same thing. So if you're going to guest on one, like you said, listen to a few, make sure you at least know kind of the tone of it and what they're going for.
Oh, also, when you were saying you edit and you don't want to fake it, I fake it all the time when I'm editing because sometimes we'll miss a joke or a guest will say something really funny or we say something that I think is really funny and I will take a laugh out of a different section and I'll put that laugh after something I said. And no one knows. And now you all know. Now where's the real laugh? That's the thing.
Do we want to talk about how to get guests for the shows?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Anyway, we have guests that we didn't even mean to have guests. If any of you all are listening to the Rocketeer Minute, we had the surprise of our lives. I think Hal and I both had a surprise. Billy Campbell, the Rocketeer himself. I sent him a Twitter message, and he had sent me back a message. He lives in Norway. And he sent me a message at 2 a.m. the day our first show premiered. And he said, "This is a great show. Can I be on?" My wife's like, "What's the matter?" Because I was standing in my bedroom at 2 a.m. screaming at my phone. Anyway, he's been on 16 episodes now of ours, and he'll be on lots more, and hopefully getting us other celebrity guests. But what we're talking about here in the celebrity part of Crystal.
Do you want my head in the way?
You want the handout?
Let me handle that. Okay. So, this is Karen, speaking of celebrity guests, which I don't have this on a PowerPoint. One thing, the most important thing is you don't need guests, okay? The Siskel and Ebert did a successful show about movie reviews for almost 15 years, and then after Gene died, Roger Ebert continued with some guests, but it took him 15 years to get to that point. And they had a very entertaining show. Lots of people watch it. You don't need guests to talk about your movie. It helps because content is king. If you don't have good content, no matter how wonderful you sound, people get bored by your content. Celebrities are a... you can click that, sorry.
That's the point.
Yes, point. Okay, don't click this point. Celebrities and experts are the laziest way to get a lot of great content, because these people know probably more than you do about the movie. You can find out things that aren't on IMDb, which Hal and I both found out that IMDb is a very untrustworthy source in a lot of situations. And it's always bad to come across when you're asking a guest questions that you got off of IMDb, finding out that it's a lie. So it's good to have them on. And you can they don't have to be stars or production workers. These are 3 people that we've had on different shows. I've had them on Airport Minute, and I've also had some of them on Rocketeer Minute. So on the left, John DeLemba is a gynecologist, and we had him on for Airport Minute. He was discussing what it's like to have a pregnant stewardess get blown up in a explosive decompression. He didn't have personal experience, but he just kind of talked with what the possibilities were. We also had him on the Rocketeer Minute to talk about the effects of chloroform when applied to a brunette. So, the fellow in the middle, who's I'm trying to remember his name. It's anyway.
You'd recognize his voice.
Yes, we have Phil Burke. Phil Burke is the general operations manager of the Minneapolis St. Paul Airport. He is the real-life version of Burt Lancaster in Airport. And I asked him how did he feel about that, and he said, "Well, I only found out about it about 10 minutes ago when we first talked about this, and I didn't know." So he talked about the actual operations of Minneapolis St. Paul Airport, which is where Airport was filmed, and gave us 60 minutes. Actually, gave us 2 60-minute episodes. So he was a great guy to have on. They don't actually, not experts in a particular field, a subject matter field, but you can also have family members. This is Vanna O'Brien, who is Van Heflin's daughter. She talked about being a kid and being on the show, being on the set, watching her dad perform in his last movie performance. And we had her on for 3 episodes. Great, very personal, very emotional episodes. Great having her on. So, they don't have to be part of the movie. You can find people that know about the topics that you bring up in your movie. And we get a lot of, these people gave me probably the most feedback in the airport. And we do get a lot of feedback in Rocketeer from some of these folks. So you can go to the next one. How do you find celebrities? Well, sometimes they found you, like I told you, with our Rocketeer. It's not that difficult. Let's go ahead. You have friends of friends. If you don't know somebody personally, if you're doing a movie, somebody you might know somebody who might have been the makeup artist on some show. Check your circle of friends. This is kind of like the way they sell Amway or other things. You always have to work your network. So use your friends of friends to find people that you might know. Also, if you make friends with celebrities, they have friends. So hopefully they haven't broken up with them. But you can get other people through the celebrities that you meet. Another great source, IMDb Pro. You can sign up for IMDb Pro. It has a 30-day free trial, which for the first 30 days you can access this as much as you like, so if you plan accordingly. You can get, in the contact information section, you can get their personal email addresses. You can get the address of their agent. You can get all it's right there. It's a stalker's nightmare, or dream come true, depending on how you look at it. So check out IMDb Pro. They're always trying. If you go to IMDb, they're always trying to sell you this service. So just look at it. I think
Probably
it's
not
20.
cheap.
No. It's like $29 a month.
That's not bad.
But you might have to buy a year. Just.
That is a little pricey.
But
So,
30 days free, you said.
30
So
days
you
free.
Plan
Plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Find it.
Get all your stuff.
Yeah. Of course, social media. Social media is how we found Billy Campbell. Billy Campbell has a Twitter account. We have a Twitter account. If you put at whatever their name is and mention them and all their stuff, hey, did you see blah, 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 and they'll get a hold of you. They also can reach to you through Facebook. The Hollywood Reporter is one of your best sources for finding out where the people that are working in your movie are currently working now. You might see their name listed. You can do a search in Hollywood Reporter, and you don't even need a subscription. You can just type in a search, and it'll tell you what movies they're doing. For example, Alan Arkin, who we've been trying to track down, is now doing Dumbo. So hopefully we can get through Disney to get the live action version of Dumbo. I don't know how they're going to do that.